For as long as humans have been around, we've been finding ways to store information, from notched sticks used to document quantities, to incised tablets used to record literature, to painted wall art used to talk crap about our cave mates.
Oh no, not cool. I did not know you.
And today is no different. While we're not using cave walls as a news board or scribbling out our most inner thoughts onto a stone tablet, each day we are writing 500 million tweets, sending 294 billion emails, sharing 4 million gigabytes of Facebook data, and uploading 720,000 hours of videos on YouTube. We're in a period of human history based on information and computerization, and it pervades every aspect of our lives. The beauty of our digital life is that we can keep pretty much anything we want. The downside is that we can pretty much keep anything we want. And while the influx of this information has created all sorts of conveniences, like sending and receiving pictures, messages, documents in an instant, the age of information has also created a mountain of digital clutter, and the rapid escalation in the use of digital devices also mean that an increasing amount of information is saved on our phones, computers, and in the cloud. And the idea that if we ever run out of storage, we can always get more in our next device, or we can simply buy more cloud storage. After all, many companies have even created platforms where we can store almost limitless photos and files, never demanding us to delete anything anymore. It's quite literally in their best interests for us to keep saving and saving. But just like in the physical world, we also need to spend some time prioritizing the cleaning of our digital world. Because just like a clean, uncluttered room breathes fresh energy into our home and mind, in the same way, an uncluttered computer or phone results in a more productive and less anxiety-producing day-to-day experience. Digital clutter is the disorganization of our data, files, and digital devices. This clutter can appear in a bunch of different forms, like a crowded inbox, hundreds of files on our desktop, or just a ton of apps on our devices we barely or don't use at all. And this phenomenon is likely to increase with the creation of new technologies. While on the surface there might not seem much of a broader issue with digital clutter other than just organization and a hit to productivity, the problem beyond the veil is that the more we accumulate digitally, the more we open up our devices to security threats that risk sensitive information falling into the wrong hands. With the increase of data and the bombardment of information, it's quite understandable to see people utilize their devices in this way, especially as we lean more and more on technology to offload some of that mental burden we tend to carry on a daily basis. A global survey by Kaspersky Lab found that while a majority of people, about 90%, store a wide range of information on their devices, mainly photos and videos, they also found that in almost 2/3 of cases, users have their passwords, including auto login for websites and apps, stored on their devices. Not only that, but more than half also store financial and payment information or scans of their passports, driver's license, and insurance documents on their devices as well. So it's a pretty serious issue, but it's not all doom and gloom. There are steps that can be taken periodically to reduce the chances of exposing sensitive information if our devices get lost or stolen or happen to be a part of a data breach. With people adding more apps and more data to their devices every month, going through the process of periodically cleaning out our app library is an important step to combat digital clutter. We tend not to think about it, but smartphones in particular harbor a lot of sensitive data, and when not properly managed, it can pose a privacy and security vulnerability to use because apps have the ability to send and receive data even when they're not being used. Technology moves at an extremely fast pace, and software is always changing to keep up. But so do cyber threats, viruses, and malware, and it's important for us to update apps as soon as new versions are released because they might include security patches that prevent or reduce vulnerabilities in the app. When comparing maintained apps with those that are unmaintained, especially considering the most popular ones, the maintained apps generally issue bug fixes and patches on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. Kaspersky Lab also found that 65% of users update apps on their smartphones as soon as they're released, while a quarter only do this when they are forced to. In contrast, those who use computers as daily drivers are less likely to update apps, saying that 48% of users update apps as soon as possible, 30% do this only when they are forced to, and 12% try not to update apps on their PCs at all. Our computers and phones share the same vulnerabilities as we use these devices to manage our lives, and digital clutter, especially too much of it, can pose a huge risk to our privacy and security. So if you're looking in your app library or application folder and you see that some things have collected dust, maybe it's time to give them an update or let them go and give yourself some better peace of mind. Hey guys, so I'm publishing this video on April 4th, which is deletion day, It's a day that encourages people to take ownership of their data and the data they leave online. I've linked below a website that will break down how you can participate simply by doing things like deleting apps from your phone to decluttering your hard drives. So if you're interested, be sure to check the description box below.